Don't let heel pain stop you exercising. So, heel pain, plantar fasciitis, and foot pain can all be very, very frustrating when you want to start a new exercise program. We hear this all the time, and I'll give you some top tips so you can keep exercising even if you do have a niggle or a pain. My name is Daniel Fitzpatrick from Sydney Foot Solutions. We have successfully treated foot pain and heel pain in particular for well over 20 years, and this comes up all the time, particularly January, February, March, those sorts of years. So what tends to happen after the holiday period, often people have a niggly foot and a sore foot. In fact, January is our busiest time for new inquiries for a whole range of reasons. One thing I would say is that often, even if you have irritation through your foot, you can keep exercising to a degree. So the preface for that notion is that, and I say this is just generalized advice, it isn't specific to your condition. If you have a very specific condition, this may not apply to you, just for the record. But generally speaking, if my patients come to see me and we do keep them exercising in some capacity. We find rest isn't necessarily always the best option, particularly for things like plantar fasciitis. So just to give some context, your plantar fascia is the toughest piece of tissue that we know of. It's very tough, it's very resilient. In the vast majority of cases, you didn't get plantar fasciitis from a one-off incident. Plantar fasciitis is related to the way you stand and the way you walk, and it's related to thousands and thousands and thousands of steps that have created micro tearing through that area. And the reality is you didn't get it because of one run or one long walk or one jumping off something. The odds are that might have pushed you over the edge, but the reality is that you've had that probably for a number of months before you felt it. And so what we often find is we tend to get people coming in and they're very motivated to start exercising and move on with their life. Yes, it takes some time to fix plantar fasciitis, but often you can exercise through that to a degree. I find rest not necessarily the best option, in my opinion. I know some other health professionals might disagree with me, and that's fine. That's no problem. There's always a number of different ways to approach something. But there is some research showing that when they put people in boots, that there was a very high reoccurrence rate when people come out of the surgical boot that immobilizes their foot. And the difficulty is that if you don't rehabilitate while people are still moving, you don't get as good a result and you don't get as tougher tissues. So just for the record, what we do with our patients is that we give them some exercise. We do manual therapy. We also do laser therapy, which helps to break up that pain. We do acupuncture. We do a whole range of stuff. But more often than not, we can keep people exercising through that period. A couple of really important takeaway points. If you do have plantar fasciitis or you've got some sort of niggly heel pain and you do want to keep exercising, the first thing I would do is stretch your calves like crazy. So stretching your calves like crazy, I actually think in a small number of plantar fasciitis cases, you stretch your calf, you feel much better. If you don't feel much better, you should go and see a health professional, all right? So this is generalized advice, and if it's not working, then go and go and get it sorted out. The other thing is I'll show you an exercise now, which is really great to do before exercise to warm your plantar fascia up. It hurts, but it also helps to loosen things up. So if you're one of these people where you've got that classic hobble in the morning, but I get better after a number of steps, this can work really, really well. So the way you do this one is that you pop your dowel here, and that you walk across it. So just be aware this will hurt. So you stop for 4 seconds wherever it's sore. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And it's just breaking up that tightness underneath your foot. A really great exercise, helps to loosen things up and really gets all of those fascial tissues going. In fact, they've done long-term studies on this and found that you get stronger, thicker fascia for the rest of your life. Once again, doesn't substitute getting professional advice, but really great place to start, particularly if you're a bit niggly and you want to keep exercising. And let's face it, you want to really keep that ball going if you're trying to lose weight, feel healthy and be better. And if you're on that journey, it's hard enough to do that anyway. You don't need foot pain to hold you back. And what we find is the reason I'm making this video is we get a lot of people who are really disgruntled because they're on that sort of merry-go-round of trying to improve their health, but their foot pain is holding them back. So the other one that I would do is you want to start turning on your foot muscles. So if you turn on your foot muscles, it will help to turn on the tissues that help to support the plantar fascia, can be very, very helpful. So the way we do this one is we just go, sorry, you might not be able to see that. So this is a rolled up towel. The purpose of the towel is to flex your toe. So the rolled up towel here, that's a bulldog, that's not a rolled up towel. And then we just go up like that. So you're doing it 10 times twice a day. And what this does is it turns on your arch muscles. Very, very, very well documented foot exercise and helps a great deal. Good boy, Frank. So I hope that was helpful. They're both really great exercises that we use all the time here in the clinic. It's no substitute for professional treatment. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to make up for the fact if you don't have like laser therapy or manual therapy or professional help with the area, but it's a great place to start. I'll tell you where these exercises are really, really helpful. I find they're really helpful for those people who have had pain for say 2 or 3 weeks or even under a month. It's a really good place to start. If you find you've got chronic symptoms, they may not work as well and you will need professional advice and we would strongly encourage you to do that. That's why we offer our 60% off initial heel pain assessment. Just $40 to come in and get assessed, and we give you personalised advice for your condition. Good luck. I hope you can keep exercising throughout your heel pain, and that eventually you resolve your heel pain so you can live your life. Thank you very much.